Over 700 small miners receive land tenures, boosting Guyana's mining sector. In the past 4 years, more than 700 small miners have been granted land tenures, contributing to the increased production in Guyana's mining sector. This significant development was highlighted by Minister of Natural Resources, Barrett, during a recent press conference. Land tenure refers to the legal rights and arrangements that allow miners to access, use, and control land for mining purposes. Minister Barrett revealed that of the 700 miners who have secured land tenures, 550 were beneficiaries through 3 lotteries organized by the government. I can safely say that over 700 small miners now hold land tenures, the minister stated. The 550 I mentioned is solely through the lottery system, but there is also the normal procedure through the Guyana Geology and Mines Commission, GGMC. The distribution of lots through the lottery included 150 parcels in Bharrat and an additional 200 in Madia, both allocated earlier this year. The mining station at Marudi in Region 9 has also been reactivated, benefiting over 40 small miners. Minister Barrett emphasized that these efforts not only support the mining sector but also stimulate economic activities across the regions. Despite recent declines in gold declarations, the minister expressed optimism about the future, particularly following a recent agreement with Reunion Gold. "The road ahead is bright," he remarked. "We anticipate the production of the first gold in 2027, with an annual output of over 200,000 ounces. In addition to Reunion Gold, another large-scale mining company is expected to commence production in 2027. Furthermore, the AJM/Zijin Mining Company is expanding into underground mining, which is projected to significantly boost its production." Minister Barrett also disclosed that Omai Gold Mines has produced approximately 4 million ounces of gold. He noted the continued exploration efforts by a large-scale company in the Marudi area and the submission of an application for a mining license by another company in Madia, signaling potential future growth in the sector. Dr. Barrett Jagdeo highlights the empowerment of indigenous communities under the 2006 Amerindian Act. The 2006 Amerindian Act, a landmark piece of legislation, has significantly empowered indigenous communities in Guyana, granting them the right to self-determination, self-management, and autonomy over their affairs. This was underscored by General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party, PPP, Dr. Barrett Jagdeo, during a recent press conference, where he condemned biased media coverage of the National Tashayos Council, NTC, conference. Dr. Jagdeo highlighted that the Amerindian Act provides indigenous villages with the authority to establish their own rules, protect their land rights, and preserve their cultural heritage. For the first time in Guyana's history, village councils have been empowered to enforce these rules and levy fines for violations, marking a significant step towards self-determination and autonomy. The NTC, established by the Amerindian Act, plays a vital role in advancing and protecting indigenous rights and fostering development. The Act outlines provisions for governance, entry and access to villages, village lands, grants of communal land, and elections, among other key elements that support indigenous rights and development. Before this Act, Amerindian communities had no right to refuse mining on their lands. The Geology and Mines Commission could issue prospecting and mining licenses for any land, including titled Amerindian land. Under this Act, we changed that, Dr. Jagdeo emphasized, highlighting the transformative impact of the legislation. Addressing the ongoing NTC conference, Dr. Jagdeo praised the government's investments in health, education, sports, and the carbon credit program, which have positively impacted village economies. He also criticized the media for focusing on negative statements from a few individuals associated with the Amerindian People's Association, APA, thereby overshadowing the positive developments in hinterland, riverine, and remote communities. "I spent 3 hours discussing various development initiatives with the Tashayos. Every single comment was positive. They were all supportive of the government's actions in their villages and took pride in recounting how government-funded projects are transforming the lives of their people. This was the overwhelming sentiment," Dr. Jagdeo shared. The government's commitment to advancing the rights and development of indigenous people is evident through various programs and policies. Within the first 2 years of carbon credit funds disbursement, over $9 billion will be injected into more than 242 communities as part of the Low Carbon Development Strategy, LCDS, 2030. In 2024, the first disbursement of $4.7 billion is currently funding over 800 projects focused on tourism, food security, women and youth empowerment, and income-generating initiatives. This year, villages will receive a substantial increase in their carbon credit allocation, totaling $4.84 billion, representing a 26.5% increase from the initial allocation. These funds will be disbursed by next week, according to Dr. Jagdeo. Additionally, significant investments are being made to improve health, education, and social welfare services in indigenous communities, with plans to construct state-of-the-art hospitals in Regions 1, 7, 8, and 9, equipped with telemedicine capabilities. $1 million carbon credit grants boost Amerindian and Hinterland development at NTC Conference. On Day 4 of the National Tashayos Council (NTC) Conference, held at the Arthur Chung Conference Center, 254 Tashayos and Community Development Council (CDC) leaders were each awarded $1 million from carbon credit revenues. The grants, distributed on Thursday, are set to significantly enhance development initiatives in Amerindian and Hinterland communities. The grants were presented by Minister of Culture, Youth, and Sport, Charles Ramsden Jr., who emphasized the government's commitment to advancing the welfare of indigenous communities. "I'm pleased to see that village leaders are returning to their communities with tangible results, not just promises or commitments," Minister Ramsden Jr. stated, urging the leaders to involve residents in deciding how the funds should be utilized to promote community engagement and development. Senior Councilor of the Parakees area, Elaine Galdari, expressed her gratitude for the financial support, noting its impact on youth activities in her community. "We have a sports club, and the youths will use this grant to upgrade the field. With the last million, we made progress, and this additional million will help complete it. This support encourages our youths to participate more in sports," Galdari said. Similarly, Senior Councilor of Karaburi, Maruca, Earl Rodriguez, highlighted the positive changes in his community, where last year's grant was used to improve the community field. This year's funds will be allocated to procuring sports gear, further enhancing opportunities for young people. In the past, the young people did not have the chance to use proper gear. Now that they have it, this will give them greater exposure and encourage participation in various sports, Rodriguez explained. The inclusion of CDCs in this year's disbursement marks a significant expansion of the carbon credit initiative. Last year, $4.7 billion from the carbon credit revenues was allocated to 242 Amerindian villages, funding projects in tourism, agriculture, infrastructure, and youth empowerment. This year, the allocation has risen to $4.84 billion, representing a 26.5% increase. Guyana's multi-year agreement with Hess Corporation, signed in 2022, involves the sale of 30% of the country's carbon sequestration over 10 years. The first payment, made in 2023, amounted to $150 million, with $22.5 million, $4.7 billion Guyanese dollars, dedicated to indigenous villages. Government allocates $400 million to advance Gastoore Energy Project in Wales. The Gastoore Energy Project in Wales on the West Bank Demerara, WBD, is making substantial progress, with the government committing a significant $400 million from its resources to push the project forward. This development was confirmed by Dr. Barrett Jago, General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party, PPP, during a press conference at Freedom House in Georgetown. Despite delays in securing a $660 million loan, Dr. Jagdeo assured that the project is advancing as planned. Additionally, Senior Minister in the Office of the President with responsibility for finance and public service, Dr. Ashni Singh, is set to meet with executives from the U.S. Exim Bank to further discuss the loan request. "We have paid about $400 million from our resources, which is more than half of the project cost. That's even better for us because of the way it is structured. We can get reimbursed for it," Dr. Jagdeo disclosed. The highly anticipated Gastoore project involves constructing a 200-kilometer pipeline to transport gas from the Liza Destiny and Liza Unity floating production fields to the onshore facility in Wales. The pipeline will then extend approximately 25 kilometers to the natural gas liquid (NGL) plant, which will be built at the site. Upon completion, the project is expected to have a transformative impact on Guyana's economy, attracting sustainable investments across various sectors and creating numerous job opportunities. The government's commitment to the project is evident, with Dr. Jagdeo stating, "The project will be done, even if it means funding it from our own budget." One of the key benefits of the Gastoore project is a projected 50% reduction in energy costs, leading to more affordable and stable electricity for the people of Guyana. The government has partnered with ExxonMobil to develop the necessary infrastructure and facilities for transporting and processing the gas for power generation and other applications.